This tutorial assumes you have Hammer++ and Hammer add-ons installed. If you do not have these two tools installed, please watch our first tutorial.
Speaking. Today I am going to be going over displacement tool. Displacements in source 1 at least are brushes that have one of their faces, well, one or more of their faces subdivided, and the displacement allows you to move the vertices of that subdivision and manipulate them however you want. It's really good for enhancing the visual fidelity of your map. So, to create a displacement, you open the face edit sheet and you go into the displacement window here. And you can see we have a plethora, means a lot, buttons here. And so to go about creating a displacement, you would press the appropriately named Create button. And this opens this window called Displacement Create. And it asks for a power. This is just the subdivision amount. It'll split the face into fourths for each power. If I do power 1, you can see there are 4 vertices per axis, which leads to 16 vertices total. And then if I were to destroy this displacement and create a new one, a power of 3, there is now 8 by 8 vertices, and so on and so forth. This is a basic displacement. You can see when you create a displacement, it removes all the other faces on the brush. This face will not seal any map leaks, and so you do need like something behind it to prevent your map from leaking. But you can still select and see those other hidden faces in the 2D views, but those hidden faces will not be in the game. And so the main tool that you'll want to be using displacement is the paint geometry tool. This allows you to paint the geometry. As you can see, I click my mouse, it moves the vertices upwards, which allows you to create little pockets of terrain like this. Also adjust the distance, so like how far the displacement goes, the radius, so how many vertices are affected when you click. So like now a bunch of vertices are affected in like a quadratic fall off, so it creates this nice smooth curve. Something else about displacements is that they aren't limited to one axis of moving. They're limited to 3, and you can choose that axis of moving with the axis here. Base normal mode is just the direction that the vertice is pointing. Like this vertice here, it's pointing this way, and so it will move that way. But if I were to choose y-axis, then paint, radius, all of these vertices are now moving towards the y-axis. And you can right-click to do the negative inverse version of the axis. So like now it's moving negative y versus positive y. And you can see I have mangled this displacement just from that. You do want to be careful about like the distance, because you can, if you're not careful with it, you can mangle your displacements really easily. And yeah, this can be used for all sorts of stuff where modeling is a bit too extreme, but you still want that fidelity of stuff that brushwork just can't provide. The next tool is the alpha tool, and this works similarly to the paint geometry, except instead of moving the displacement vertices, it paints them. This can only be used with blend textures, which are textures made specifically to use this feature, but these blend textures allow you to paint details onto the texture and blend them seamlessly. It's a bit like overlays, except you can blend between like normal maps and stuff. You can also control the like value, which is just the intensity of the blend. Like if I do a really low value, it'll be very low blend amounts. So they're almost like dynamic overlays that you can individually tune for material. Face normal goes off of the like direction of the brush or that the original displacement was made from. Subdiv normal goes off the direction of the individual vertice. Displacements can also be used in groups. So you can have multiple brushes set up to be these displacements. And a really useful tool when using these multiple brush setups is the subdivide tool. It's a single click, and what it does is it rounds out the corners of the subdivision to be like, I guess, smoother. So if I hide the face edit, you can see it has this like nice smoothness between these two brushes. And placement. From there, like at the subdivision normal, I could do like a really large radius, a really low distance. And then from here, I can individually paint the displacements. The most common usage that people use displacements for is terrain. Like if I were to get a rocky texture, like this texture that Portal 2 uses for its caves, you have this like nice cavey look. And it's just two brushes. You also have the destroy button. Allows you to reset. There's also the noise option, which allows you to randomly move the vertices of a displacement around, create that natural randomness. If I do like 20 and like, I don't know, 30, now they're all moved around 20 or 30 units-ish. If your brushes are the same like length in the edges that they're touching, you'll be able to use the sew tool, which allows you to connect those vertices together seamlessly. But you can see that the random noise that I've created is not very visually pleasing. It looks really jagged. And so there's also a tool for that too. Paint geometry tool from earlier, except this time the smooth tool. This basically samples the group of vertices in the radius and brings them all closer together so that it looks smoother, basically. So if I like do a bit of smoothing on these, it gets a little less jagged. Once again, have that nice smooth terrain. There's also the attributes it allows you to like offset the displacement faces by like a certain amount with the elevation. Like 10 pushes them 10 units. Or like scale. It allows you to scale the amount that the vertices are being displaced. And then these three checkboxes, physics, hole, and ray collision, do exactly what they say. It disables physics collision, or hole collision, or ray collision, or all three. There's also invert alpha, which also is pretty self-explanatory. Does that, where it takes the blend texture and swaps them. If I were to paint alpha real quick, invert alpha, and you can see it's inverted.